Okay, let's lighten the load. Variety magazine's best comedies of all time. Who is funnier, American comedy or British comedy?
Oh, British comedy, 100%.
Ooh, God, these are fighting words. Chevy Chase, Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
John Belushi.
I'm really incensed that the Cornetto trilogy wasn't there. Like, we could have had Shaun of the Dead, we could have had Hot Fuzz, we could have had The World's End.
I would disagree with that.
Trust me, Anastasia, even you would crack a smile.
Tropic Thunder is possibly the last balls-out comedy to have been made.
Dr. Anastasia, what's your favourite comedy?
Not my genre of choice.
You don't find things funny?
Well, last time, Piers, you told me I'm not fun at parties, so I'm really matching my grade.
Well, you just proved the point. If you can't think of a single
Yeah, exactly.
comedy movie you like, that's what I mean about the woke brigade. Where's the laughter? Where's the fun?
I'm having fun here, Piers. This has been truly a pleasure.
If you've been arguing about politics at the Thanksgiving dinner table this week, I have excellent news for this show. We're going to argue about everything other than politics. Has Wicked lifted Hollywood's box office curse? And more importantly, could its stars be the first non-demi curious, semi-binary couple ever to win an Oscar? Time magazine prepares to name its person of the year. Who should win? The world's strongest woman contest is won by a man. Should we have a problem with that, or are we all just bigots? And does Variety's list of the 100 best comedies of all time prove that woke really is dead, as my new book is titled? Joining me to discuss all that and more, Will Jordan, best known as YouTube's leading movie critic, the Critical Drinker, Gary Nerdrotic Buchler, who's the host of Friday Night Tights, Jillian Michaels, host of Keeping It Real, and Dr. Anastasia Gabriel, who's the cultural commentator. Plus a man who's been in the headlines for a legal victory this week, the comedy writer Graham Linehan, is with me in the studio too. Welcome back to you, Graham, to
Thanks.
Uncensored. So welcome to all of you. But we'll start with something which will definitely be, I'm sure, something Graham will have a view about. This is the most extraordinary story of our time, really, in the way that it perfectly personified, I think, one of the big problems with the woke sort of scourge on our society, as I would put it. A transgender athlete called Jammie Booker won the world's strongest woman title several days ago and celebrated. You know, big picture, celebrating on the podium. And then there was an interesting exchange with the camera and the woman who came second, who was really pissed off about this and stomped off, and it looked rather graceless. Right to the point, it emerged that Jammie Booker is a biological male, is a man. And that was why Jammie Booker looks so much bigger than the female contestants, and why Jammie Booker won the title of the world's strongest woman. But Jillian Michaels, right here in this story, once it emerged that Jammie Booker was male, the organisers stripped Jammie Booker of the title and said they weren't aware that Jammie Booker identified as a trans athlete at all. They thought that she was a woman. What do you make of this? I mean, it seemed to me the fight back, this is why I say woke is dead, that the public reaction was so quick and so ferocious, and the official reaction was so quick to correct this, that this is why I believe wokeism is actually dead. Not everyone's got the memo yet, but the public tolerance of it is disintegrating.
Listen, I'm glad to see that Jammie was stripped of the title and it was given to a biological female, because I think fairness in sports is essential. It is the pillar of sports, along with safety and then inclusion. And often in many of these different categories, there are mixed categories for people like Jammie. Now, having said that, I completely disagree with you about woke being dead, Piers. I'm seeing craziness abound everywhere. And in fact, I think it was in the Carolinas regarding powerlifting, the Supreme Court just penalized the United States Powerlifting Association for not allowing biological males into sport with biological females, despite having a mixed category. So I think every step in the right direction is great here, but I don't think we're there yet at all.
Okay, Dr. Anastasia Gabriel, what do you make of this?
Well, I would push back on the idea that woke is dead, and everything is about perspective. What does actually woke mean to you? For some, it might mean craziness, as the panelist said. For some, that might mean being more aware, more inclusive, and more progressive, and how we understand people who hold all kinds of differences. So to me, I'm not familiar with that particular case, so I will not comment on the decision. But what worries me the most is the kind of abuse and harassment that oftentimes emerges in these moments that actually affects people, populations beyond that one particular winner, and the kind of rhetoric that we, our society, are normalizing.
Yeah, but the problem, it seems to me, is when a society endorses, often legally, this kind of thing, you are going to piss off a lot of people. And the victims actually tend to be trans people who want to just get on with their lives quietly, not bother anyone, may have gone through years of surgery in some cases, right? I've got full respect for those people. But when you, as a society, when you say it's perfectly normal for biological men to compete against women, I say society loses its mind. And so people, when they see this, go, well, this is obviously unfair. Shouldn't be happening.
Well, Piers, I would respectfully challenge you on the idea of normal. This is an incident that has happened out of how many other victories where that has not been the case.
Why should it happen at all, though? If it was doping, we wouldn't allow
We live in a society
anything.
where all sorts of things happen, and to me, this is an opportunity to discuss these issues, to talk about what's normal.
Would you have gender-neutral Olympics?
I'm not sure that I would immediately subscribe to that position.
You're not sure?
No, let me finish, please.
Or would you allow men and women? Would you allow men and women to compete in one gender-neutral category at the Olympics in all the different sports?
Piers, it's lovely to be back. I would love to be able to finish my sentence.
Sure.
I would not necessarily argue for that position myself.
Why not?
However, because I do think that there are different athletic abilities. However,
bingo. Bingo. So you know it's unfair. That's my point. So you wouldn't allow it because you know that men have a physical advantage.
Piers, I cannot articulate my position in a rational manner.
You just answered
the
it.
Previous sentence. No, you're cutting me off to not allow me to make my point. And if that's how it's going to be, I'll give the mic back to you.
Is there more to your point than you realize it's wrong to put the sexes together?
I am saying that society changes and notions like right or wrong are dependent on your perspective. So, of course,
not really. They're dependent on things called biology and science in this case.
Well, there are myriads of very well-established scholars, activists, professionals who might disagree with you. So who are you to say that they're completely wrong? That's a part of the debate, Piers. That's part of the debate.
Anastasia,
there's no one right or wrong.
Even you don't disagree with me. You just said you think it's right that the sexes are kept apart in the Olympics.
I did not say, please do not put words in my mouth. I said that it's a nuanced issue, and I think there is a conversation
we separate the sexes.
That are gray areas.
Okay, let me ask you one more time.
That our society
Let me ask you one more time.
Okay.
Why do we separate the sexes in the Olympics?
At this point, I will not entertain your provocations.
Got it. No problem at all.
Thank you.
Graham Linehan,
can I answer it? Because there's a robust amount of data outside of what is observationally obvious that men have superior athleticism across every single modality of fitness.
Of course.
And the reality is that when you mess around with fundamental truths like XY chromosome and XX chromosome, it is crippling to a society because we cannot solve problems when we can't agree on what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
It's okay to
transsexual individuals have existed
for these
throughout
individuals.
Anastasia, I'm afraid you can't. You can't refuse to comment on this anymore.
Transsexual individuals have existed through
commenting on it
history.
again.
That is science as well.
All right, that's not how this works. Graham, welcome back to Uncensored.
Okay,
you got
Piers.
cleared yesterday of harassing a teenage trans activist, Sophie Brooks, on social media. You were convicted of damaging her phone. But this came after she accused you. She was 17 at the time. Apparently, you called her a sociopath, a psycho, a domestic terrorist, and groomer on X. The judge said your social media posts did not amount to harassment. First of all, how do you feel about what went down in the verdict there?
Very good. I've been targeted by this group of men, most recently including Sophie, for about 10 years now. So it's nice to draw more attention to them. I'm hoping that finally the police will start investigating these men who have been harassing not just me, but dozens of women across the country, getting them arrested, suing them. These are basically a criminal gang, and the UK police, for some reason, are working for them. And you know, the police have gone from being terrified of being called institutionally racist to being institutionally misogynist. You know, and I'm. It's annoying that I had to go through all this, but I'm glad it's bringing more attention to.
You've been having a lot of wins actually in the last few months. It seems like common sense is beginning to prevail. I mean, the one thing that people say about you, which I think, I can understand why they feel it. It's not the campaign you've waged or the logic of your argument. It's sometimes the rhetoric you've used. When you look back over the last few years, notwithstanding the fact you yourself have been on the receiving end of vicious, horrible rhetoric, but if you had your time again, would you tone down the rhetoric? Every so often, there's a piece of cinematic entertainment that just feels bigger and bigger. Not another Hollywood reboot, but an epic story of courage, faith, and meaning. The Daily Wire has gone all out with this new 7-part series, The Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin. It's based on a book series by Stephen R. Lawhead, and it's a retelling of the classic King Arthur legend. The first official trailer just dropped. You should go and check it out. In this extraordinary world, pagan gods fall silent and empires collapse, but one man's vision ignites a civilization's rebirth. Merlin becomes the bridge between myth and history, shaping the destiny of kings. What's not to like? The Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin, premieres exclusively on Daily Wire Plus on January the 22nd. Watch the full trailer now at dailywire.com.
Well, the thing about the rhetoric is it has to be understood in the light of the fact that, as I say, I've been targeted by these men for 10 years, for a decade. I lost my Father Ted musical because my colleagues wouldn't stand up for me in the face of this harassment. And I lost my marriage, as people know, because I lost my ability to make an income. So our family was put under pressure. So if ever I'm rude or angry or express myself forcefully, it's simply because I'm just disgusted by my colleagues who have watched me go through all this without a word of support. Ardal O'Hanlon recently threw me under the bus. He's never once called me to ask how I was doing. He's never once called to say he supports my campaigns against men and women's sports, against men and women's prisons. Yes, if I do express myself forcefully, it's simply because I'm very frustrated at the fact that people can't see what's evident.
And when you hear a debate like this, when we start off with, the world's strongest woman title being won by a biological male, right there is one of the problems, right? Is that people just hate to hear women, including someone on this panel, kind of defending this kind of stuff. I just find it completely baffling.
And also, they always say things like, this is a unique occurrence. It's been happening again. This has been happening for about 10 years. Laurel Hubbard, the weightlifter in New Zealand.
Weightlifter, 45 years old, nearly twice the age of any other contestant.
Yeah.
Very unsuccessful as a male weightlifter, suddenly an Olympian contestant.
And beat 2 Indigenous women. He now holds the women's record for weightlifting in New Zealand.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Okay, let's lighten the load. Let's turn to Variety magazine's best comedies of all time. So at number 3, Annie Hall. Ironic, given that Woody Allen has been pretty well the victim of a cancellation attempt as well. Some Like It Hot, a film about the ridiculous idea of men pretending to be women. Irony is not dead here. And at number 1, Naked Gun, starring Leslie Nielsen, one of the most notoriously un-PC comedies, featuring the infamous Nice Beaver line. So again, further evidence, Jillian, that woke is dead, because Naked Gun would never have been number 1 on this before. I got to say, my favourite, Nerdrotic, let's start with you here. What do you think of the top 3? I'm absolutely incensed about 2 things. One, that Anchorman is not in the top 3, which to me is not only the greatest anti-woke movie ever made, but also howlingly funny. And secondly, the campaign with Will Ferrell isn't further up the list. It's apparently, I think, way down, actually. I didn't even make the top 100. It's the biggest grossing political comedy ever made, and I know that because I'm in it. So I feel I've been robbed. But Nerdrotic, first of all, the top 3, Annie Hall, Some Like It Hot, Naked Gun, good choices. Would you have had another one at number 1?
Absolutely. I would have had a lot more at number 1. Anything Monty Python, Holy Grail, I would have put up there. Airplane, I love Naked Gun, but it's a compilation of the TV show. It's kind of a really odd choice. And they use the word influential in this, but any list that doesn't have, I've got 30 I could read off here, that doesn't have Tropic Thunder, Blues Brothers, Animal House, any Pink Panther movie, Uncle Buck, Ferris Bueller, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, Vacation, American Pie, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, 48
Is
Hours.
Beverly Hills
Ghostbusters.
Cop not in the list?
No, Ghostbusters.
Oh,
on the
that's
list.
completely outrageous. Beverly Hills
No,
Cop's one of the
Arthur-
greats.
Yeah, but Tropic Thunder being off the list is absolutely ridiculous, and I would put that easily in the top 3.
What should be what's the funniest comedy ever made? Literally,
in my opinion?
Yeah.
I would have to say Blazing Saddles.
I'd love Blazing Saddles. Number 77, completely outrageous. Critical Drinker. What do you make of this list? It's obviously incendiary already.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always going to be contentious. Like, what is the greatest comedy of all time? Like, how do you even begin to pick them out? But I'm not sure if I would put Naked Gun right at the top there. I'm really incensed that the Cornetto trilogy wasn't there. Like, we could have had Shaun of the Dead. We could have had Hot Fuzz. We could have had The World's End. They should be way up in the rankings.
Where's Life of Brian in that top 10?
Yeah.
It's
So
nowhere on the
Life
list.
of Brian didn't make the top 100. I mean, that's absolutely,
Ridiculous.
that's an offence. Well, we go to Graham Linehan. You made one of the great comedies. Is Father Ted on the list?
Well, it's not a film. So.
Yeah, but does it not have any TV shows in it? It's all movies. All right.
Yeah.
So, Graham, for you, the 3 they've chosen for the top 3, but what would you have on there?
I don't know. I mean, my tastes are very esoteric. One of my favourite comedies of all time is The Heartbreak Kid with Charles Grodin. I've watched that like 1,000 times. I think it's a perfectly constructed comedy movie.
That's in there, apparently.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
It
It deserves to be. And I slightly disagree with Nerdrotic on the Naked Gun. I just think the Naked Gun films were even an improvement on the Airplane films in that they just this simple thing of Leslie Nielsen's straight face throughout this utter insanity, I think is one of those comedy secrets they discovered that has hardly been beaten since then. Getting all these, and again in the Naked Gun series, the Police Squad series, getting all these actors who were used to being in the type of TV shows they were parodying. It was beautiful.
Is the funniest comedy, Graham, offensive? I mean, a lot of Catholics got upset with Father Ted, for example, but a lot of my favourite comedies are pretty near the knuckle.
You have to walk a line, and again, as people have been pointing out, the problem with the last decade again is that we haven't been allowed to walk the line. Comedians have to be able to take risks and to tell jokes that don't work and be offensive and all these things. But we've had a very nervous sort of executive class that the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic have been covering brilliantly on their YouTube. And they, it just seems to me that I think people might agree with me that Tropic Thunder is not only a great film, but possibly the last balls out comedy to have been made,
Absolutely.
And, and it's
100%.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame that we've had 10 years where it's been kind of like a desert,
Well, let me ask Dr. Anastasia, we're on a lighter subject here. What's your favourite comedy movie?
Not my genre of choice, so I'm learning a lot.
You surprise me. You don't find things funny?
Well, last time, Piers, you told me I'm not fun at parties, so I'm really matching my brain.
Well, you
with
just proved the point. If you can't think of a single comedy
exactly.
movie you like, this is
always
what I
looks
mean
behind
about.
me.
But Anastasia, it's what I mean about the woke brigade. You don't like
Piers,
laughing. You're joyless people. Where's the laughter? Where's the fun?
I'm having fun here, Piers. This has been truly a pleasure.
You don't find any comedy movies funny?
It's not my genre of choice.
You never watch comedy?
I mean, occasionally, but I can't tell you off the top of my head my favorites.
You can't think of a single comedy movie you've ever enjoyed?
No, Piers, I cannot.
Wow. You see, I need to
I keep shocking you today.
Well, it's just, this is part of the problem with wokeism. It's humorless.
Oh, gosh. Let's move on, Piers.
Today's show is sponsored by Oxford Natural, makers of the Optimum Day and Optimum Night all-natural supplements. Thousands of Brits and Americans are already taking them with incredible results. Optimum Day boosts your energy and supports weight loss throughout the day. Optimum Night helps you relax and get deep, refreshing sleep. They have countless success stories, including from some very familiar faces. England legend Michael Owen, who lost 40 pounds, AFTV's Robbie, who lost more than 100 pounds. To watch their full stories and many more, scan the QR code on your screen or visit oxfordnatural.com/peers. And here's the best part. Use the code PEERS and get 70% off your first order. Yes, 70% off with the code PEERS. Jillian,
I
I know
highly
you like
recommend
comedy.
I got it.
I'll check
Mine
it out.
aren't as
Thank
good
you.
though. So the thunder has already been stolen quite literally with the suggestion of Tropic of Thunder. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say Fish Called Wanda, Something About Mary, and then I'm going to go
Something
to
About
When Harry Met
Mary.
Sally.
Great film.
Oh,
Love-
so
what-
good,
What
guys.
was the third
Come
one?
on. And then Harry Met Sally.
Oh, when Harry Met Sally.
That's a
None of those are in the top 100. How can you not have When Harry Met Sally?
Oh no, surely when Harry
The
Met Sally's
greatest,
the best.
it must be in there, surely. Greatest comedic movie
it's
about
not.
relationships ever made. Wow. You got to, is it not in there, team? Seriously?
It's not
29,
in there. No.
29. It's in,
Oh, is it?
29.
I missed that
How can
one.
it not be
Fish
in the
Called
top
Wanda's
10?
in there as well. I don't think Something
I
About
mean-
Mary's on the list.
Unbelievable.
No, that's not in there.
Yeah.
Who is funnier, Nerdrotic? American comedy or British comedy?
Oh, British comedy.
Yeah?
100%. I grew up on it, watching PBS here in America, Faulty Towers,
Yeah.
Monty Python, reading Douglas Adams. Absolutely. It's different. Well, you're educated over there. Your schools are pretty good, so it's
Not anymore, buddy.
More of, well, when I grew up 100 years ago, I grew up on British comedy. I think it's superior. It's smarter.
Ooh,
Let's
God, these
ta-
are fighting words. Chevy Chase, Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
John Belushi.
I think it might be a case
Oh.
of grass is greener, you know, because I've always loved American comedy and really admire the spirit of American comedy. Recent shows like I Think You Should Leave, it's just a style of comedy we don't see over here, and it's nice. It's
See, I
nice
would
to see
argue
shows
the
exist.
funniest movie comedian of them all is Will Ferrell. I would say that. I think his body of work is the funniest collection of films. If I could die,
He's been
watching
going through a
one
bit of a
guy's
dry
films-
spell over the past 15
Yeah.
years, though. Like, it's been quite
He
a
had a
while
good
since
run.
Will
But
But
Ferrell's
it
had
needs
a
to
hit.
work with me
Yeah.
again. His campaign was a massive
That's
success. That was the real thing. Let's turn to Wicked. Obviously, a massive box office success. $200 million taken in its open weekend. A lot of pushback from the old fans of the original Wizard of Oz. They say the new version tramples on the classic lore and basically ruins it. The new twists in the movie include the magical land of Oz is now a tyrannical patriarchy, of course, led by a drug-addled, animal-abusing wizard who's also the deadbeat dad of the Wicked Witch of the West, who is now a misunderstood hero of the story. Innocent, sweet Dorothy is now the baddie of the film. The Scarecrow is now the boyfriend of the Wicked Witch, despite the fact that in the original Wizard of Oz, she tries to set him on fire multiple times. The Tin Man is a psychopathic rage machine intent on murder. Glinda the Good is a fraudulent witch who has no actual powers. There's an underground railroad under the Yellow Brick Road for enslaved animals. And the Munchkins, this might be the worst of all, the Munchkins are normal sized. Nerdrotic, does it matter? It's obviously a big success. The younger crowd are flocking to it. They're obviously a little bit more touchy-feely about these things. They love to see a bit of patriarchy bashing. Does it matter if you rewrite the classics for a modern vibe?
I think you got to base it on it's based on individuality, I would say. But I think it's a tired trope that's been going on for years. This is essentially fan fiction. If you go back to Watchmen, it's about subverting expectations. And Wicked is easily, which I've seen the play too, is patient zero for a lot of what we've seen going on in modern entertainment with Star Wars and Star Trek. But I think Wicked, the story's so old, and I think it's okay to make a movie. Here we go, because men and women are different. So Wicked is a movie for gay men and women, and it's certainly like Barbie was. And you can make those. Just stop making Star Wars Wicked or Marvel Wicked. That's always been my contention. But it always has its place as long as you recognize like there's his dark materials. There's people who hate traditional storytelling that will go out and write their own story to usurp it and destroy it. But as far as Wicked is concerned, it's been around for so long. For me, it doesn't matter personally, but as long as we recognize like this is what spawned an era that we're in now, an era that I'm sure we'll get to where with the box office and Hollywood falling apart because it's got an identity crisis and it really doesn't know what to do right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Critical Drinker, there's this strange chemistry between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande on their press junkets. Led to speculation the two are in a non-demi curious semi-binary relationship. I have absolutely no idea what any of that meant. But let's take a look at a mashup of their press conferences.
Not the time, helicopter! It's been a pleasure spending time with you. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I hope you will be there for the rest of my life. I hope you'll let my French be one of the things that you're learning how to let in.
So great. That joy he wanted to infuse in every frame.
A Critical Drinker, I think I can safely say I'm probably the only member of this panel who has had Ariana Grande weep into his arms, which was in a restaurant in Beverly Hills during a 4-hour drinking session we had together a few years ago. I can't go into any more details, but it was a special night for both of us.
Oh, please do.
And she did end up weeping into my arms. So I kind of feel an affinity with Cynthia Erivo and a little bit jealous that she's supplanted me. Is this real, do you think? Or is it just a little scamboli they've pulled on people where it's just incredibly entertaining?
Oh man, it's Hollywood. I mean, it's not real life, and these are not real human beings in the normal sense. Like they do not face the challenges that regular humans do. And I don't know, man. It got me wondering, like, what on earth happened to these two women in the course of making this movie? They look like Vietnam veterans or something. They have been through. I mean,
when you're being given PTSD from a helicopter and have to be basically protected, something terrible's happened.
Well,
so I don't know what it is, and it's like they were in the most like puff piece musical, like the most upbeat, fun thing you could get involved in, and man, it has destroyed both of them mentally and physically.
Well, Dr.
I just
Anastasia,
hope that they find a path to wellness again.
Well, let me ask Dr. Anastasia. This might be more in your wheelhouse than comedy.
Perhaps.
Can you explain to any of us what a non-demi curious semi-binary relationship is?
Unfortunately, I cannot because I think you just made that up.
No,
However,
no. That's a
genuine
thing.
Okay. Well, I did want to respond to another panelist, around this idea whether these are real humans, real human beings. I think that's what he said. And I really think that's not necessarily true. What we're seeing might be a genuine interaction. And it's precisely because we don't see these women as real human beings that they've been receiving just loads of abuse and harassment and mockery online. And so I think we can talk about it, how it's making us uncomfortable in some way, that the way that they're acting, the vulnerability on display. But to say that they're not real human beings, I think might risk being harmful in the way that we see.
Yeah, I don't mean
women.
that they're like robots or like lizard people or anything. I just mean that they are not normal human beings. Like,
they're highly successful. They're very affluent. Yeah, absolutely. But I've just been saddened to see the kind of response where that kind of crosses the line of mockery. And I'm quite interested in the question of why do we find it cringe?
I think if you're weeping about the noise of a helicopter, you're probably entitled to a bit of mockery.
Sometimes mockery is okay.
Yeah, it's kind of very mockable.
I would disagree with that.
Well, if the helicopter flew over the studio now and I started going, ooh, about a helicopter, trust me, Anastasia, even you would crack a smile. Jillian, what do we make of these two? I mean, it's a fascinating thing to watch them, but are we overthinking it? Is it just Hollywood being Holly weird? December is Heart Awareness Month, which makes you think differently about the busy holidays. Stress rises, routines slip, and our bodies, especially the heart and blood vessels, feel the impact. Supporting healthy circulation becomes more than a wellness goal. It's essential. That's why it's important to boost your natural nitric oxide levels to keep the blood moving. Blood Flow 7 by Juvenon is a natural daily supplement. It's specifically designed to support healthy circulation so you can feel energized, clear-headed, and vibrant again. Packed with natural ingredients, it works by boosting nitric oxide levels to relax the blood vessels, helping blood flow freely. That means more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, heart, and muscles. All with one dose a day to improve stamina, heart, health, and vitality, all without caffeine or stimulants. Try Blood Flow 7 today and feel the difference where it matters most, inside your veins. Visit bloodflow7.com/uncensored and get 30% off your Blood Flow 7 order today.
I think there's a little more to this. My 15-year-old gave me a full lecture in anticipation of our conversation this morning. And she did point out that both of these women have been through quite a lot, that Ariana Grande was a Dan Schneider Nickelodeon kid, and that Cynthia Erivo has been abandoned by her father. And I think what we're seeing, even though this is the doctor's job to probably elaborate on this, but I think what we're seeing is a unique form of trauma bonding. I really do. And it is making us uncomfortable. But it's not harming anyone. But I do think that's what's going on here. If I had to guess at it, I don't think it's performative.
No? Okay. Well, let's go on to Time Person of the Year. Quite interesting, because it's not given to the most popular, beloved person of the year. It's just given to the most significant figure of a year. It's been going on for pretty well 100 years. In 1927, the first person of the year was the aviator Charles Lindbergh. In 1938, it was Hitler. In 1963, Martin Luther King. In 2017, the Me Too movement. So sometimes a trend will win, or a group of people, an entity. And in 2024, Donald Trump was Time's Person of the Year after his re-election. So we looked at the prediction markets. Polymarket says AI is favourite with 36% of the favourite vote. Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA CEO, 24%. Pope Leo, the first American pope, obviously, 15%. Donald Trump, 7%. Zoran Mamdani at 3%. And Charlie Kirk at 2%. Graham Linehan, I mean, who do you think? I mean, I'm surprised you're not on that list, actually, but who do you think is Time's Person of the Year, or who should it be?
I think it should be Charlie Kirk. I think Charlie Kirk paid the ultimate price for, using his freedom of speech, trusting his audiences, and trying to hear people out and express a version of Christianity that seems to me extremely noble and good. And all the things that were thrown at him after his death turned out not to be true. I think he was a wonderful man, and he died because he trusted people too much.
Yeah. Nerdrotic, what do you think?
I have to agree with Graham. I think it's a slam dunk. It should be Charlie Kirk. It shifted the culture this year. We saw the reaction to his death, where many of us lost friendships over what we saw people celebrating a man's death. And it really showed, as far as just influence and impact while he was alive and after his assassination, we've seen things kind of fall apart and within both the right and culturally. And I think that's impactful enough. And it's just sad that we had to lose him to see like how ugly things are right now. It has to be Charlie Kirk.
Critical drinker?
Can I offer a counterpoint to this?
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest Sydney Sweeney,
Right.
who is single-handedly defeating wokeism in Hollywood just by
think
being
that's a great
really
shout.
attractive and laid back.
Great show.
I think
The only problem is she's dating Scooter Braun, who's utterly revolting. Other than that, she's been great.
We'll get that dealt
She'll
with.
break
Don't
up with
worry.
him.
Gillian, who's your Time Person of the Year?
I'm 100% with the guy with Charlie Kirk. We have one gentleman, obviously, critical drinker, who wants Sydney Sweeney. I agree completely. It should be Charlie Kirk. And I think that we've seen just how valuable he was now that he's gone, which is absolutely heartbreaking. One thing I do want to point out about AI, though, is that this alarms me, to be honest, because these institutions are, again, making things that are factual fluid, like personhood. If we go back to redefining what it means to be a woman, are we now redefining what it means to be a person? So that alarms me. I think that should absolutely not happen. And I'm all for Charlie Kirk being Person of the Year.
Okay. Dr. Anastasia, who would your suggestion be?
Well, my suggestion does not revolve around my feelings or who I think should be celebrated. It's really about the criteria that has been used. And it is essentially a distinction, a way to mention somebody or something that has the most immense impact on society, economic, et cetera, for better or for worse. So I do think selecting AI is actually a sound idea, primarily because even though Time's selection is titled Person of the Year, it has never been just Person of the Year. Pierce, you mentioned the Me Too movement, some other examples.
It's often been groups.
And so when we think about
How
it,
did the Me Too movement turn
AI
out?
has been revolutionary. It has affected, there's no sector that hasn't been affected, whether that's health or employment, our daily lives. So I think it would be a great opportunity to have a conversation about what this year has brought in terms of innovation. And that's the suggestion I would go with.
Okay, I would personally say Trump should get it again, because honestly, if you look at the year, the amount of news that basically is dominated by one individual is quite extraordinary. So I don't disagree with the Charlie Kirk suggestion. I think he's a very laudable candidate for this. What happened to him was just unspeakable, and to be killed for your speech just repulses me. But I do think Trump has such an overbearingly dominant impact, good, bad, and ugly, on pretty much everything, that I find him irresistible as a winner this year. But we shall see. We'll know quite soon. Polymarket are usually right, so maybe it will be AI. We're going to end with a little note about Thanksgiving. I want to ask, I'll ask you, actually, you first of all, Nerdrotic. Do you know how it started?
Yeah. You guys came over and conquered the United States, and you had a little lunch with the people you were about to conquer, and then we made a holiday out of it. That's history.
So the word you're looking for is... Nerdrotic? The word you're looking for to we people in England is... Nerdrotic, I know you can hear me. The word he is obviously looking for is thank you, England, because without us, you wouldn't have a Thanksgiving Day. So when you're all guzzling your turkeys this week and all the other random things you do way before when you should do it on Christmas Day, just remember, without us, without those settlers, the Pilgrims, back in 1621, scoffing their grub to celebrate basically creating America, there would be no Thanksgiving. Jillian, do you feel grateful or not?
I feel very grateful. And the one thing I would point out, and I do appreciate Nerdrotic's position, but this was a moment of unity. This is when the Native Americans and the Pilgrims came together. This is a holiday that was created by Abraham Lincoln, I believe in 1863, to bring us together. So for me personally, I think we should celebrate coming together as a nation, as well as our family, our friends, and everything beautiful about our globe right now. We should be positive in these moments.
Well, I am thankful to America, because you've given me a great time for the last 20 years.
I should push back on that, Pierce, if I may. I do think it's important to have a conversation about the way Thanksgiving is a kind of American mythology that has oftentimes used this idea of unity to actually overlook some of the uglier sides of our history. And for that reason, many places in the United States are adopting ways to celebrate indigenous cultures, right? When we think about that mythology of Thanksgiving and coming together, I don't think it's actually rooted in the reality of U.S. history that has been marked by the genocide of indigenous people. So I wanted to offer that.
Well, it's not a mythology. It actually did happen.
Yeah.
And you can absolutely celebrate indigenous people simultaneously. These two things are
I'm not entirely
exclusive,
sure.
but if you're,
by mythology, I mean when we kind of romanticize things.
I think along with not finding anything funny, Dr. Anastasia probably doesn't celebrate anything.
I do not celebrate Thanksgiving, Pierce.
Because
You're right about that.
everything is terrible.
More
Comedy's
turkey
terrible.
for us.
Thanksgiving is terrible. Turkeys are terrible. The English are terrible. Everything is absolutely terrible. Well, Graham, you've moved to America.
Yes.
Do you feel thankful that America has taken you in?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping to be useful enough to the Americans that they want me to stay, because I certainly don't want anything to do with the UK anymore. But yeah, I love it over there, and I can't wait to get back, you know?
Yeah, I do. I was about to say before I was so rudely interrupted by Dr. Anastasia. So I'm surprised.
Well, you've done it to me, Piers, every single time I've spoken.
But I do think
We can keep going.
It's a fantastic country and extremely welcoming, actually, to people from anywhere. And I've loved America, love Americans, love the way they celebrate Thanksgiving. We'll ignore Dr. Anastasia's attempt to ruin it as the habitual party pooper in these panels. And actually,
Piers, it's Dr. Anastasia. Anastasia. Thank you.
And correcting my pronunciation as well, just a bit. It's always a pleasure
Gotta
to
bring
have
the
you.
moon down. Someone has to do it.
My humble apologies to you. And Nerdrotic, I hear that you actually weren't pretending not to hear me. You couldn't hear me.
No,
but
I could not hear you. I'm sorry.
It was actually
the timing
more,
was flawless.
Well, it was more comedic to think you were deliberately ignoring the opportunity to thank us than it was if you'd actually heard me. So we're just going to leave it as it was. Panel, you've been great. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you to everyone for joining me. I appreciate it.
Likewise.
Cheers, Piers.
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And in return, we will continue our mission to inform, irritate, and entertain. And we'll do it all for free. Independent, uncensored media has never been more critical, and we couldn't do it without you.